Nelly, top female in the entertainment industry. As we all know, he and the actor Moses are the sworn enemies of the king but not the king. On the variety show, the actor game punished me for being drunk and screaming at me slimy, wife Tilda. That night, the whole network exploded and Weibo was paralyzed. It seems that I can't hide my secret marriage to Moses. There are two top streams in the entertainment industry. One is me, Nelly. The other is actor Moses. The two of us are at home, and fans often tear them apart. Some time ago, Moses was photographed kissing a mysterious woman in the parking lot. Suspected girlfriend. Moses fans pulled off the taunt mode. We have a sister-in-law. Your sister is still a single dog. Lose it. Haha. Good guys. Me off half to death. My fans collectively opened fire on Weibo, angrily scolding the company and agent for not being a person, squeezing me, and causing me to not even have time to find a boyfriend. I received an invitation to the variety show, The Life of a Star, and my agent packed me into this show overnight, which is called Vacation. There are many handsome men and beautiful women in The Life of a Star, and fans shouted at me on Weibo hoarsely, Nelly, sister, my only sister in internal entertainment. There are so many handsome guys in this variety show. Please be sure to win one in the show. Little wolf dog, little milk dog, you deserve. This sentence happened to be seen by Moses next to me. A certain actor instantly darkened his face, pinched my waist with his big palm, and spit out words in a low and playful voice, little wolf dog. Moses approached me, his eyes darkening and his breath burning, and he said, little milk dog. I swallowed in a daze. Moses' pretty finger bones pinched my chin. Baby, you like this type? Heh. I hurriedly begged for mercy, grabbed Moses' neck, and kissed him on the lips. I don't like little milk dogs and wolf dogs. Nelly likes her husband the most. Really? Moses smiled softly, with a clear brow and a hint of charm in his eyes. My toes curled up. Finished. It seems that tonight is another night that cannot be judged. Whining. On the day the show started recording, I got into the nanny car from the agency, and set off to the recording location of the variety show, Villa by the Sea. I staggered in the car for 2 hours, and when I was about to arrive, I was woken up by my assistant Xiao Tao. Raised my hand to take off the blindfold on my face, took out the makeup mirror, and delicately touched up my makeup. The agent told me about the variety show recording next to me. At the end, she sighed worriedly. This is your first time recording a celebrity reality show. It's different from filming on the set. It's easy to recruit a black guy if you can't get it right. You have no experience before. The first time is in this form of all-round live broadcast, and it's not allowed to bring agents and assistants. I really regret taking this show for you. I took a sip of the lipstick I was on, admired the beautiful self in the small mirror, and comforted the agent in turn, saying, okay, it's all here. The contract has been signed. It's impossible to go back. Ella, don't worry. Wait for me to come back victorious. My title of the top of the popularity gap among female stars is not for nothing. As soon as the black nanny car stopped, the door was pushed open silkily. Crashing into the photographer's lens is a pair of slender legs in pure black high heels. Thin black straps are wrapped around the ankles. Pure black and white intertwine, a hint of temptation. The barrage of the live broadcast was immediately swiped by the rainbow fart of my fans. These long legs have to be me, Nelly. Wait for the camera to cut to the panorama. I was wearing a red dress, black hair like a waterfall, flaming red lips, and when I stepped out of the nanny car in high heels, I was crazy about compliments. Nelly is beautiful. Nelly, the top performer in domestic entertainment. Peerless legs, Nelly. Thankfully, I couldn't see the comments. Otherwise, you must be ashamed. The male assistant carried the 28-inch oversized suitcase to the ground, and I raised my hand to pull it up, said goodbye to the agent, and walked towards the seaside villa. The villa is gorgeously landscaped like a castle. I tugged at the heavier suitcase, and thought to myself that Moses had packed the box for me last night and filled it with a weighing stone. As I walk down the path outside the villa, flowers bloom along the way, and cameras are installed among the flowers. Fortunately, I have been a female star for 7 years, and I am not afraid of the camera at all, and I know how to show my most beautiful side in the camera. Walking to the gate, I rang the doorbell. There are already guests in the villa who have arrived before me, and these people are: the popular girl group Cat is Sweetheart, Polly, popular actress, Dawn, the little king of music, Brooke, idol boy group Len, A-list actor, Bart. Among them, I know Bart the best. I worked with Bart because of my last play. After I took the Magnolia Vision, Bart soared into a line. The lineup of The Life of a Star is unprecedentedly luxurious, with a total of 7 guests, all of whom are top-notch or popular. But, I counted, Bart, Len, Brooke, Dawn, Polly. Even if you add me, it's only 6 people. I silently frowned at my thin eyebrows. The bigger the coffee position, the more the finale debut. The program team has been hiding and tucking. Who is the 7th mysterious guest, who has not been officially announced? Can you beat me? Before I had time to think about it, I was warmly welcomed by the first few guests in the villa. Whoa, I didn't expect our 6th guest to be Nelly. I love Nelly. I've seen every one of Nelly's plays. Welcome Nelly. Nelly, long time no see. Bart stood up to greet me, a warm smile on his face, and held out a hand to me. I politely shook Bart's hand. The CP fans of the last drama suddenly went crazy and swallowed sugar. It's so sweet. Kill me. Just when the CP powder was dying, another black nanny car suddenly stopped at the door of the villa. The 7th guest has arrived. When the people in the car got down, and the top-notch face appeared in the camera, the live barrage was paused for a moment, as if the audience outside the screen was breathless. Then, I don't know who burst into a foul language. The 7th guest turned out to be Moses. Ah, it's really Moses. I didn't expect to see Moses on a variety show in my lifetime. I love it so much. The Life of a Star was able to invite Moses. It's amazing to have you in the variety show. We must follow to the end. The barrage of short pauses rolls wildly. The dense barrage of various colors covers almost the entire picture. That's where the top-tier traffic comes in. In the end, the fans complain sweetly and proudly, okay. The stop point of the barrage has disturbed our look at Moses. I looked at Moses, who appeared at the recording site of the variety show, and froze in place. The red lips are slightly open, and the eyes are confused. Amid the excitement of celebrity guests Polly and Dawn, Moses politely greeted everyone. Then, his gaze turned to his stunned lovely wife. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but hook up, and his voice was like a low-alcohol wine, with a hint of subtle sultry, and called, Nelly. Hey, I didn't come back to my senses for a moment. In other words, Moses and I have been married for 5 years. I have never cooperated in film and television, and I have never been in the same frame in a variety show, so I really don't know what expression to make, and my reaction is half a beat slower, because I and Moses are well-known opponents in the entertainment industry. My small gesture will also be stared at by the audience with a magnifying glass, and deliberately misinterpret the meaning. Moreover, my appearance is one of the best in internal entertainment, and when I don't smile or let go, my appearance reveals an aggressive sense of coldness. At this time, when I saw the husband of the hidden marriage actor, who hid from me and appeared on the same variety show as me, the corners of my mouth were stiff, and I looked like a noble and glamorous black swan, disdainful of the actor's overtures. So, Nelly is too arrogant. Moses took the initiative to greet her. What is her attitude? Do you really think you're the queen? It seems that these two are not only fans who like to tear apart, but even the main owner is like rumored. The relationship is not harmonious, and the king does not see the king. Now, the next days of The Life of a Star will be exciting. Just when the audience was watching the excitement and shouting on the barrage in the live broadcast room to tear up, no one expected that Moses would ignore my cold and arrogant attitude and stretch out a slender jade white palm towards me. Nelly, long time no see. Well, this sentence sounds a little familiar. It dawned on me that Bart had said the exact same thing to me when I first entered the villa. Me, Moses, you stingy man, you could be a little more nave. I shook Moses' hand. Under the camera, the fingertips of men and women are lightly touched, and they are separated in just a moment. The manhood is cold and luxurious like the moon. The woman has a red dress and black hair, bright and arrogant. The whole picture has a kind of cinematic freeze-frame texture. The aura is also inexplicably sexually strained, like the collision of delicate roses and cold moonlight, extending endless fantasies. Moses fans and I went our separate ways in the live broadcast room, boasting about it without money. My sister is so beautiful. My brother is so handsome. Lick the screen. Lick the screen. At this time, a particularly eye-catching barrage of golden light suddenly floated. Am I the only one who thinks Nelly and Moses look like a good match? My only fan and Moses immediately retorted sensibly and vehemently. Yes, that's right, it's just you. Take away the actor. Don't make an appointment. My sister is due my thank you. However, they were stubborn in their mouths, but their hands consciously took screenshots and saved the divine pictures just now. As my hands parted, Moses' tail fingers swiped lightly across my palm. It seems to be inadvertent, but it has a bit of seduction. I didn't have any special expression on my face, but my earlobes hidden in my black hair were a little hot, and the snow white was dyed crimson. It's all old husbands and wives, and Moses still plays this set. But, stimulate, my heart pounded twice, and when I withdrew my hand, I stroked my hair. Polly, who was born in the girl group, has a sweet voice and is good at enlivening the atmosphere, and is also the invisible host of this show. She said, "All right, now that everyone is here, let's assign a room, shall we?" There are a total of 7 rooms on the second floor of the villa, and the rooms are large and small, and the style of decoration is also very different, and the room number plate is determined by lottery. You don't have any opinions, do you? Everyone said okay. After drawing the number plate, everyone first carried their suitcases upstairs and tidied up the room. In order to increase the highlight of the show, there was no elevator in the villa, and the celebrity guests could only carry boxes and walk up from the luxurious spiral staircase of the villa. When an artist records a variety show of life, he will bring no less things: cosmetics, clothing, toiletries, and even bed sheets and quilt covers. Everyone is basically an oversized 28-inch suitcase, full of weight. The male guests can easily move upstairs, but the female guests, who are almost all wearing high heels, are miserable. Was dressed up beautifully, and no one wanted to show the embarrassed side of moving boxes in front of the camera. If you accidentally twist your foot and fall down the stairs, it will be a shame to be thrown in front of the national audience. The female guests had no choice but to ask for foreign aid. Dawn wisely chooses Bart, who has the best temper and has worked with her. "Bart, can I trouble you?" Bart gave me a look, then nodded at Dawn. On the barrage, fans pulled out this small detail, especially CP fans. Like the new year, if I'm not mistaken. Bart glanced at Nelly before nodding. He should have wanted to help Nelly move the box, but because of the gentleman, it was difficult to refuse Dawn. And he got it. He got it. Dawn fans quit. What do you mean by being a gentleman and not being able to refuse? Dawn and Bart have worked together well, right? Please stop with some CP powder. Polly of the women's group and Len of the men's group are brothers and sisters from the same company, and Polly chose to ask Len to help. Senior brother Yan, I'm sorry for you. I'm more embarrassed for the rest. One is a notoriously cool and poisonous tongue, a bad temper, and a little king of the music world, who doesn't give anyone face when he's unhappy. Brooke. One is my hidden husband, a sworn enemy in the eyes of fans. Fans didn't expect that the two would say at the same time, "Give me the suitcase." I was slightly stunned. Moses and Brooke each glanced at each other. In the eyes of fans, the for-tat tension came out all at once. This atmosphere is a bit delicate. Brooke is a well-known cool brother, and when he is on camera, he doesn't want to be dragged by Lao-sis face. But I didn't expect to take the initiative to help girls carry boxes. What's even more unexpected is that Moses is okay. Isn't it rumored that he and Nelly don't get along? I'm recording a show. Even if the relationship is not good, it's impossible to tear it up during the live broadcast. Right, it's definitely a show. Woo woo. That scene just now looks like a classic famous scene of two men fighting for a woman. I seem to think that I have strayed into the Shura field of Lianzong. By the way, am I the only one who thinks Nelly is a good match for Moses and Brooke? Immediately, a barrage replied, CP can be unpopular, but it can't be evil. Brooke is fine, glamorous sister and cool handsome brother, but Nelly and Moses. Weibo Kawa Square's ranking of the least likely couple in the entertainment industry. They are ranked no. 1. Okay. Fans are still chattering and shouting on the barrage. I hesitated for only a second before making a decision. Quietly, he handed the box in his hand to Moses. Then Trouble Moses. A starry smile appeared in Moses' eyes, and the corners of his mouth hooked. You're welcome. Brooke looked at me, her eyes darkened, pursed her thin lips, and turned to carry her suitcase upstairs. Fans screamed. Brooke's lost eyes are like puppies. He just wants to help Nelly move a box, and he doesn't want the stars and moon in the sky to give it to him. I feel sorry for my brother. I can't figure out why Nelly asked Moses to help. Ouch Tilda, you don't understand. Generosity is friendship, and caution is love Tilda. The screen is full of me and Brooke's CP, but, the conscience of heaven and earth, I am not familiar with Brooke, although he has sung several TV series themed oaths that I have starred in. When Moses lifted my box with one hand and his own with the other, he stepped up the steps with a narrow waist and long legs. Not the slightest embarrassment, but a kind of boyfriend power that overflowed the camera, and the barrage became actor boyfriend power max. Moses is handsome. Look at these long legs, these fingers, drooling. Well, did you find Nelly and Moses' chest? It seems to be the same paragraph. Heh. The barrage was drowned out in a sea of praise. Moses left my box at the door of the room, in the corridors of the villa, including in the room except for the bathroom. Pinhole cameras are installed to record the every move of celebrity guests at any time. I bowed my head at Moses with a slight reserve, pretending not to know him well. Thank you, Moses. Next, each of the 7 guests entered the room where they were selected by lot. I'm lucky, and the room is set in a French romantic style. Although I have never recorded this kind of live variety show, I have watched it and know the general steps. You're probably curious about what's in my suitcase. Let's open it and take a look. I moved the box to the camera, my tail finger pinning the long jet black hair that was scattered next to my cheek behind my ear, and the sound came through the microphone pinned to my neckline. Actually, my suitcase was put together for me by Moses last night, and even I didn't know what was inside. However, it is nothing more than skin care products, clothes, shoes, bedding and the like, and it is impossible to open a box and overturn. I confidently opened the lid. Who knows? What catches your eye is a touch of pure black. What is this? I was puzzled for a moment, and when I picked it up, I realized that it was a pair of men's underwear. Swish! My face turned red instantly. The barrage exploded in an instant. Men's panties. Nelly has a boyfriend. The top actress overturned on the live broadcast of the variety show, and she is suspected of living with her boyfriend. That's not right. It seems that the box is full of men's clothes and supplies, as well as razors. There's only one truth to the matter. Nelly and Moses got the wrong suitcase. So, this one is Moses. Now it's in Nelly's hands. Whoa. Exciting. Exciting. Pound Nelly Moses pound. Pound Nelly and Moses got the wrong box pound. Pound Nelly Moses panties pound. Pound Nelly blush pound. With the top-notch physique of me and Moses, the top 10 on the hot search list, we occupy half of the country in the blink of an eye. Under the Weibo comment area, netizens who haven't watched or haven't had time to watch The Life of a Star are asking what's wrong. The answer is also hilarious. It's nothing. It's just a bloody case caused by a pair of underwear. People can die, but they can't die. I didn't expect that I would roll over in such a form, with my toes picking at the ground, and my little face being bright. I want to cover my face, but I still have a hot potato in my hand. I can see Nelly's embarrassment on the screen. Nelly, who am I? Where am I? What is this? I feel sorry for Nelly, but a famous scene like this, give me 100 more times. Ha 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 ha. Fans said that they felt sorry for their sister, but they laughed like a flower behind the screen one by one. I pursed my red lips, and in the next second, with lightning speed, I threw the hot potato back into the box, and closed the suitcase with a pop. The temperature and bright color on my face had not yet dropped, so I tried my best to show my composure, and coughed slightly. There was a little accident just now. Don't take it seriously. As I explained, I unnaturally flicked my long black hair over my cheeks with my white fingers, and adjusted the angle of the camera to move the culprit's box out of the camera. In the live broadcast room, fans suddenly blew rainbow farts. It's rare to see Nelly's shy appearance. Mom, a woman who even blushes so good. Nelly, I advise you to be sensible, and not run around in my mind all day. After a few words of this little episode, I knocked on Moses' room door, and prepared to change my suitcase. Moses opened the door. A slender figure appeared in the doorway. Nelly, what's wrong? If it weren't for the cameras everywhere, and the microphone tucked between the neckline of the red dress, I would have wanted to jump on Moses and grab him by the collar, and ask him if he did it on purpose. But, forced by the camera, I had to say, Moses, we got the wrong box. Moses raised an eyebrow slightly. Really? I didn't pay attention. Moses turned back and lifted the box out with one hand. Is this it? I nodded and took it, and gave Moses back. The appearance, size, and style of the two suitcases are exactly the same, and if you don't open them, you won't know whose they are. I have a different color box. Why did Moses use this, for me last night to pack my clothes? Cause me to die in tens of millions of viewers. Whining, Moses looked down at me, a small smile hidden in his eyes, and asked in a lazy tone, why does Nelly look a little red? The words fell, and before I could speak, fans couldn't wait to jump out and answer, even if they knew that the person concerned couldn't see it, because Nelly just took your panties, and of course I'm blushing, when I see you again, Moses. Shy Nelly, I'm so in love. Bright beauty Nelly. Nelly, the queen of the top. Am I the only one who thinks Moses' tone and demeanor are very sultry? Sister, you're not alone. If Nelly and Moses weren't rivals, they would really be a good match, with two top-notch and two looks, and only they could be worthy of each other in internal entertainment. Right, I couldn't help but give Moses a disgusted look. I'm notoriously incompatible with Moses fans, and if I were to change the scene, the look would have been interpreted by Moses fans in a variety of ways. But right now, none of the Moses fans sprayed me. It's just that when some fans were about to move and couldn't help but want to swallow CP, they said, again, CP can be unpopular, but not evil. How could we Moses possibly flirt with Nelly? Two rivals. Okay, my fans also say, Nelly is beautiful. No matter how much the fans on both sides dislike each other and refuse to bind up, the audience can't suppress a burning heart of CP. Soon, Moses and I not only had CP fans, but also CP names. Of course, I don't know for the time being. After I got the wrong box back, I didn't want to stay at the rollover scene, so I went downstairs. Downstairs, several celebrity guests who visited the room also sat on the sofa and chatted. The topic of the chat is, what to eat at noon today. The program team reserved meat and vegetables in the refrigerator of the villa for only 7 guests to eat at noon today. As for dinner, you have to rely on getting your own ingredients. The variety and quantity of food in the refrigerator is not large enough for people to use to cause trouble. The task card of the program team also requires that the guests need to cook a hearty lunch with at least 7 dishes. Not everyone among the guests knows how to cook, and even in the audience's impression, the vast majority of artists are kitchen novices who don't touch the spring water. And I'm different. I'm a kitchen black hole. That kind of black hole that can burn even if you cook white rice. Polly raised her hand delicately, stuck out her tongue and said, okay, I'll only cook instant noodles and frozen dumplings. Dawn smiled. I've been a light eater for a long time, so I can make a good vegetable salad for everyone. Then, he threw the conversation to me, where's Nelly? I replied, if you're not afraid of being poisoned by my dark food, I don't mind showing your hand. Okay, the case solved. None of the 3 female guests knew how to cook. However, fortunately, 4 male guests took the initiative to take care of today's lunch. At first glance, Bart is a good man, who is as warm as jade, and IKEA is a good room, and it is not surprising that he can cook. Len's family background is ordinary. She was brought up by her grandmother before her debut, and she has been cooking since she was a child. To the surprise of the audience, it was Brooke and Moses. The former is a cool brother, who is scared of the sky, a little king in the music world from a wealthy family, and the latter is a top actor, who is not grounded like a cold white moonlight. But I didn't expect these 2 people to be able to cook. The only thing that wasn't surprising was probably me. Moses is a good cook, and I was fed well every time I was at home. During the half month of the Chinese New Year shutdown, I weighed more than 90, gained 95 pounds, and was forced by my agent to lose fat in the gym for 2 weeks. In the end, the agent also ordered Moses not to tempt me with food, otherwise he would throw me into the crew, and he would not see his wife for 3 months. So, it's been a long time since I've eaten sweet and sour ribs made by Moses. The male guests are the chefs, and the female guests help out. Unable to avoid the smell of loose hair and oily smoke, I took out a small red rubber band and pulled my thick inky curls up. The fluffy ball head, and the 2 slightly curly strands hanging down from the sideburns, bring out a hint of laziness. I often have to join the group. My hair has not been dyed, pure black with shiny, after the hair is pulled up, revealing a slender and snow-white neck, bright lips, and with a bright red dress. I can imagine that it is extremely beautiful. Sure enough, the barrage praised Nelly's superior skull. Even if it is a random ball head, it is also a beauty out of the circle. Nelly sharks me with her face. Although I like sweet and sour short ribs, I don't like to touch greasy meat with my hands. So after pulling my hair, I walked over and asked, "Are there any vegetables that I need to wash?" Moses handed me 2 red tomatoes. Okay, I took the tomato. It's really not difficult. However, when I was at home, Moses was in charge of chopping and stir-frying, and I washed the vegetables next to me like this, handed down the plates, and gave Moses a hand. However, I didn't realize that my familiar actions with Moses had aroused the suspicion of fans. Why does it feel like Nelly and Moses get along so well? Harmonious. It's not at all like the rumored rivals who are incompatible with the king, and the king is not the king. It's me who is dazzled. How do you feel that Nelly and the actor actually feel like a newlywed couple making breakfast together? When washing vegetables, the water splashes. I glanced at Moses' white shirt. Moses had some water splashes around his waist, and some looming under his shirt. Seeing this, I subconsciously brought an apron and put it on for Moses. Moses bowed his head in agreement, and then, a circle of people looked at me. Polly, Dawn, Bart, Len, Brooke, all with a hint of shock in their eyes. I reacted, and then I realized that this was recording a show. Under the camera, not at home. Wipe, careless. The barrage exploded in an instant. I'm not mistaken. Nelly gave Moses a tie, an apron, and a skirt. Yes, sister, you read that right. I saw it too. Nelly's action of tying an apron on Moses was so natural that I thought they were a married couple. Of course, the fortat and prejudice of each of their fans over the years are not so easy to change. Nelly, stay away from our brother. Nelly, you're confused. What are you doing? That man is your nemesis. I panicked. Years of actor literacy have kept my face calm. I explained that Moses' clothes were wet with water, and I saw an apron next to the fridge, and helped Moses put them on. Moses had beautiful lips and a thin smile, unhurried, and whispered in a casual voice, "I just can't spare my hand." Thank you, Nelly. My face was slightly hot, and I said in my heart, "Moses, you male vixen." Then he looked away at the others and asked, "What about the apron, Polly? Do you need it?" One of the basic skills of an artist. The face does not change color and changes the topic. Polly blinked, and quickly said, I didn't see an apron before. Please sister Nelly help me put it on." With onions and potatoes in her hands, Polly leaned over with a smile on her face. I put an apron on Polly as well. This matter was brought over at the scene of the variety show recording. But, CP fans don't believe it. Brother Moe, do you believe what Nelly said? I don't believe it anyway. Wei fans said angrily, "Eat CP and stay away. Don't dance around." While stir-frying, Moses pulled up his cuffs, revealing a small bright red leather band around his wrist. The bright red leather band matches the snow-white delicate wrist, and a small black mole grows on the protrusion of the wrist bone, which looks unexpectedly alluring. The director immediately instructed the cameraman to cut the shot closer and give a close-up. Fans shouted, "Moses actually wears a girl's little leather band on her hand." A boy wearing a small rubber band on his hand means that he has a famous grass and a girlfriend, and everyone shouldn't know this. Show Moses is off. Did you notice that Moses was wearing a little leather band that looked a bit like the one on Nelly's head? Can't you say it's like? It's just the same. Only Wei Fan is still struggling. Maybe it's a coincidence. That's it. This kind of small leather band is not a customized model. You can buy it anywhere. Even if you hit the same model, it's not unusual. However, Wei Fan himself is not very confident in his heart, and the more he talks, the more empty he becomes. The suitcase is the same, and the small leather ring is also the same, which is too coincidental. Coincidentally, they made a group of die-hard fans muttered in their hearts. These two should not. There's really a leg. Right. I was numb at the sight of the bright red leather band Moses was wearing on his wrist. Why hasn't Moses taken off what he put on last night? I'd love to rush up and roll Moses down his sleeve, or hide the little leather ring. But in plain sight, I couldn't do anything. Next, I was distracted the whole time until the meal was served. 7 dishes and 1 soup. Very hearty. Coincidentally, they are all my favorite dishes. The camera is close. The 3 dishes are brightly colored and look appetizing. Hungry fans drool. It tastes good just by looking at it. I didn't expect my brother to not only have good acting skills, but also his cooking skills. Moses, it's amazing to have you in the entertainment industry, and I'm blessed to be a fan of you. Go away. Don't disturb me eating. My brother made it for me. What are the sisters upstairs dreaming about in the daytime? My brother is obviously lying in my arms. By the way, doesn't Moses like sweet? Why are the dishes so sweet and sour? Moses has previously been asked about his taste in an interview, and he has personally said that he doesn't like sweets, and his fans remember it clearly. So, yes, why? Moses obviously doesn't like sweet, and the specialty dishes he makes are all sweet and sour. At this time, a barrage suddenly floated in the live broadcast room. A man who doesn't like sweetness cooks sweet and sour pork ribs. What other reason can there be? It's just because some people like to eat it, Barrage hurriedly asked. Anyone? Who is this person? I don't know. What I'm talking about is experience. I think when I was a licking dog, the one he likes to eat, I learned to make it, even if it's something I don't like. Sister has a very reasonable point. So, who is the one who made Moses wash her hands and make soup? Fans are discussing. Soon, case solved. It's Nelly. It's Nelly. Nelly said in a Star interview 3 years ago that she likes sweet and sour food, and her favorite thing to eat is sweet and sour short ribs. CP fans are instantly carnival for the new year. The video of the interview from 3 years ago was resurfaced, and Moses fans and I felt like we were a natural match. But now, Moses, who doesn't like sweets, cooks sweet and sour short ribs, and CP fans think the sugar is really sweet and hard. And I don't know which talented fan made a famous quote out of the circle. I don't like sweetness, but I like you. At the dinner table, without the agent by my side, even Brooke's cooking was particularly in line with my appetite. I couldn't help it, and I killed 2 bowls of rice in one go. Barrage, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Nelly is really the amount of food that ordinary female stars should have. I can eat better than I can. Ha ha. Of course this is not the amount of food that ordinary female stars should have, because Nelly is the amount of food for top female stars. Upstairs, you know the word top. Seeing that Nelly's meal is so delicious, tears suddenly flowed from the corners of my mouth. Sister, hungry, hungry, rice. Occasionally, a few discordant voices are mixed in the barrage. Shouldn't female celebrities pay attention to body management? Nelly is pretending to be a food show, deliberately setting up a foodie persona. Right, looking at Polly and Dawn. I think that's the normal amount of an actress to eat. Then, he was scared. We Nelly have a habit of working out, so she really eats when she has food, although body management is the professionalism of artists, who stipulates that actresses must eat less, as if it is a sin to add an extra bowl of rice. Not everyone's aesthetic is white and thin. Okay, stand up. My sister is a top entertainer in the world, and she still needs to set up a person. Eating like Nelly for such a table is the greatest respect for the food, and the people who cook it. Besides, I don't look at who cooks the food. Is the sweet and sour short rib specially made by Moses full of hobbies? The food and you can't be disappointed. He said CP fans at the end. There were also a few sporadic barrages across the live broadcast room, I don't know if you have noticed. Except for the dishes made by Moses, Brooke and Bart, they are also the favorite dishes mentioned in Nelly's interview. Alas, should they? In the blink of an eye, these sporadic statements were drowned in the rolling barrage from the rival family who doesn't see the king to the top couple. The sexual tension of loving and killing each other is more emotional and exciting than any kind of CP. After eating, I felt that my waist circumference had risen by 1 centimeter, and my heart was filled with the guilt of a female star. You shouldn't have eaten the last bite of your meal. It's all to blame for the sweet and sour short ribs, made by Moses, that are so delicious. Woo woo. So, in the afternoon, when I was doing tasks to get ingredients, I worked very hard, climbed trees to pick coconuts, jackfruit, pineapples and dragon fruit. I'm at the front. The guests were divided into 2 groups. Moses and I were not grouped. I picked tropical fruits on one side, and the other group went out on a yacht to catch fish, flower nails, oysters, and prawns. In the evening, everyone decided to have a BBQ at the beach. There is both an evening breeze and an atmosphere. This decision was unanimously adopted. We will go back to the villa first to handle the ingredients, and the program team will help set up the tables, chairs and lights on the beach. Back at the villa, picking fruit in the afternoon in the woods where mosquitoes bite, I felt an unbearable itch, and I couldn't help but scratch twice. Considering the camera, I don't dare to make indecent moves, otherwise tomorrow's headline may be "Pound Nelly turned into a big man pound." In order to facilitate contact, the program team did not require the guests to hand in their mobile phones during recording. It didn't take long for my phone to vibrate twice, and I received a WeChat message from Moses. "Come out, baby, I'm here in the back garden." There are eyes everywhere in the villa, but at the end of the small garden behind the villa, there is the only place where the program team does not have cameras. If there is an emergency, the artist needs to contact the agent, and he can go to the small garden to make calls. Meet here, but don't be afraid of being broadcast. But what did Moses do with me? I was curious, so I made an excuse to come out and come to the small garden. While picking the wheat and walking to the end of the garden, I finally could not care about the camera, and I couldn't help but scratch the little red bump on my neck. "If you catch it again, you'll bleed." When Moses saw me, he stopped me. I hugged Moses' thin waist aggrievedly. "Itchy tilde." Moses kissed me on the lips with a hint of pampering, and coaxed, "Yes, good. My husband brought you ointment." With that, Moses picked me up, put me on a bench at the end of the small garden, and put my medicine on it. The snow-white neck with a few red marks was scratched, and the ointment with a hint of mint coolness, and the man's delicate and gentle long fingers slowly soothed the painful itch. Moses half crouched in front of me. I curled my eyebrows, and put my white and tender feet on his black trouser legs, and here tilde. Moses raised his head slightly. His beautiful inky eyes looked at me through the fine black hair on his forehead. His slender hands grasped my ankles. The corners of his beautiful lips were hooked, and his eyes were dazzling. Lack of cleanup. After the medicine, Moses and I left the small garden one after the other and returned to the public eye. The audience's eyes were bright, and even though I tried my best to cover it up and reapply the lipstick, they still noticed the problem immediately. "Hey, aren't Nelly's lips a little swollen?" That's the kind of anyone who has a boyfriend knows it. It's true, even if Nelly touches up her lip makeup, she still feels like she is glamorous after receiving a kiss. Absolutely, absolutely. Please ask the merchant who sells lipstick to come up with the same kiss color. And did you notice Nelly's neck? It's like a kiss mark. I just counted the time. Moses disappeared in front of the screen for 27 minutes. Nelly disappeared for 21 minutes. Rounded up, which is equivalent to them kissing for 20 minutes. And rounding it up, it's done. It's too much to say that Moses is only 20 minutes old. At least 2 hours to start. The fans got wild, and the barrage was a small train whining, and they didn't see it at all. I thought I was covering it up very well, and I didn't show my stuff in front of people, but I didn't know that I had already been picked up and had no secrets left. At BBQ on the beach, everyone has a barbecue and has fun. Polly and Len, who came from the Idol boy and girl group, danced a pas de deux to ignite the atmosphere, and Brooke sang his famous song with guitar accompaniment, which drew cheers from the audience. Even I walked to the stage and sang under the lights. Finally, 7 guests sat down around a long table with beer and barbecue, beach chairs and a comfortable evening sea breeze. The program team proposed that the guests play the popular game, You Have Me Know. The rule is that everyone says something they haven't done, and the person who has done it has to put down 1 finger, and if all 5 fingers are put down, they will lose the punishment for drinking. After listening to the rules of the game announced by the film crew, I opened my red lips slightly. The game is simple, but Moses drinks. I glanced vaguely at the man sitting next to me. I can't say it's very bad, but I can only say that it's odd, poor, none compare. Moses rarely participates in drinking parties, and he has never appeared in variety shows, and few people know about his poor drinking. I got worried. However, Moses himself did not show anything unusual. The game begins. Polly took the lead, holding up a hand. I haven't acted in any film or television dramas. Polly really deserves to be a frequent guest on variety shows. And she started to kill a lot. Me, Moses, Bart, and Dawn each lowered a finger. The second was Brooke speaking. Brother Cuss' voice was cold. I haven't participated in the draft. Len and Polly get hit. The third is Dawn. I haven't sung Ost in film and television dramas. Everyone except Dawn dropped a finger. The game gradually entered the white-hot stage. Everyone from the professional competition in the circle to the trivial matters of life. And soon the first round of losers was produced. After a few games, the guests won and lost, and even I poured a glass of wine. However, Moses has not lost yet. My hanging heart slowly let go. It turns out that my husband is the king of the game. No wonder his face has not changed. Don't worry about it now. It's just that I rejoiced too soon. Next, the battle of the game became more and more intense, especially seeing that Moses has not lost yet. The rest of the people are eager to win or lose, and always want Moses to lose a round as well. There's no senior in the game. Moses, I'm sorry. I don't have extravagant endorsements. I haven't won the best actor. I don't have. Moses has dropped 4 fingers. The next speaker was Len. He smiled shyly and said, I've never been in a relationship, with the exception of Len and Brooke. Everyone else dropped a finger. Baraz, I didn't expect Brooke to look so cool. His first love is still there. I really want to see what it's like for him to fall in love. Moses finally lost. Ha ha ha. Keep going. That's how exciting. The game is over. Moses drinks. My eyebrows skipped a beat. I thought, it's over. Tilting his head and drinking a beer. Moses didn't change his face. Heh. I blinked my long eyelashes, and stole a few glances at Moses. Confused. Unexpectedly. It's okay. The game continues. Probably because of alcohol. The new game started very rolled. I don't have anyone I'm in love. As soon as Brooke's voice fell, the atmosphere of the scene became very delicate. My heart flutters. It's going to do something. Having been in love and being in love are completely different for artists. At least, the 7 celebrity guests here are all single to the outside world. Bart was the first to drop a finger. He has a girlfriend outside the circle, and when Bart is not popular, that girl is by his side, and it has reached the point of talking about marriage. Now that Bart is popular, she hasn't broken up with that girl. I was a little hesitant. Do you want to let this finger go? Moses and I are married, and it seems reasonable to be in love hidden marriage. However, I don't want to deceive the audience. I purse my lips, struggling. In the next second, the man next to him silently lowered a finger. Me. I had no choice but to bite the bullet and keep up with him. Baraz, wow, Tilda, Bart, Nelly, Moses, all have lovers in a relationship, have the courage to admit on variety shows. I respect them, as a man. Like Dawn, it's not very honest. Obviously I was photographed by the paparazzi some time ago and I was suspected of cohabiting with times. It was Bart's turn to speak. He thought for a moment, and dropped a bomb in a warm voice. The lover I am dating is not here tonight. In a word, he avoided suspicion with me. Bart and I are both characters who don't fire CP during non-business periods, and the drama we cooperated with has already been broadcast. So let's not give fans some gratuitous fantasies, and rise to live CP. I didn't expect that the true feelings of all these years were paid by mistake after all. That's it. It's outrageous to eat Nelly and Moses. They are mortal enemies. Alas, only the powder has been torn for so many years, and they can still be torn like that. I really admire it. The sugar in variety shows is all fake. Who wouldn't act? Don't forget, one of them is the queen and the other is the actor. Even if they hate it in their hearts, they have to pretend to love each other on the surface. Maybe you'll be the next big guy. Heh. I can't play this game anymore. Bart's remarks avoided me, but unknowingly, they also pushed me into a difficult situation. I was trying to find an excuse to slip away. However, Moses dropped a finger again. I was confused. The scene was silent. The barrage exploded. I knew it. I knew it. CP must be real. Mom, I'm really snorted. Someone hasn't reacted yet. Isn't Nelly still down her fingers? Why are you so excited? Among the 7 guests, there are only Bart, Nelly, and Moses who are dating. Right. Yes. Bart said his lover wasn't there tonight, but Moses dropped a finger to mean his girlfriend was there tonight. Right. Yes. So, who else but Nelly? Who else? It doesn't matter if Nelly lets go of her finger or not. That's her. It can only be her. Yes. The rest of the group was also stunned, and Polly opened her mouth and couldn't help but say, "No, Sister Nelly, you and Moses." Exploring other people's secrets in the entertainment industry is a rule-breaking, especially on the show. Realizing that she had lost her words, Polly quickly covered her lips. "I'm sorry." However, except for Brooke's expressionless face, and his eyes seemed to be a little red, everyone still looked at me with a melon-eating expression. I picked at the ground with my toes. The hands under the table pinched Moses' waist hard, and the groundhog screamed inside. "Moses, what the hell is he trying to do?" Moses turned his head to look at me, and in his eyes, there was a kind of clear stupidity like a college student, and his previously clear and sultry voice revealed a hint of stickiness. "Wife, what are you pinching me for? My heart is like ashes." "All right, let's mess up. I don't want to eat it either." "But," he called, "she, old mother-in-law." Alas, woo-hoo, the live broadcast of the variety show officially announced. Moses is too brave. Moses isn't it drunk. Then Moses is too bad. Pour a glass. But if it weren't for that, we wouldn't have seen the famous scene of CP's official announcement in our lifetime. And we were so drunk. Ha ha ha. The barrage is messy. And the fans are also full of awe. Because there were too many people in the live broadcast room, it was instantly crowded and collapsed. Pound Moses shouts at Nelly's wife pound, burst. It didn't take long for the Weibo server to go down. The programmer was recalled to headquarters overnight. "Looks like we're going to have to work overtime again tonight." The filming scene is still filming. The rest were shocked for a second time. I had to laugh awkwardly. "He's drunk. I'll take him back to the room first." Although there is no positive response, this sentence can be regarded as a tacit acquiescence to the relationship between the two. I dragged Moses back to the villa, and I was sweating. In the hallway on the 2nd floor of the villa, I asked Moses with a delicate face and panting, "Where is your room key?" When Moses was drunk, a light layer of bright color floated on his eyebrows, as if he didn't hear clearly. "Heh, keys," I emphasized in a somewhat ferocious tone. Moses leaned in and kissed me, with a hint of wine between his lips and teeth, and his voice was languid and sticky, as if coaxing me. "Wife, don't be angry." I couldn't get angry all of a sudden. Later, this segment was edited into a finished film by the program team, and broadcast on the Star station, and fans were greeted with pink bubbles in their eyes one by one, calling them crazy, and they just knew. It turns out that Moses, who is like a white moonlight in the entertainment industry, is so cute and sticky when he is drunk. It turns out that I, who has a cold and glamorous personality like a queen on the screen, is so easy to coax. It turns out that Moses and I are so sweet. We have become the most popular CP in the entertainment industry, and the popularity of Kawa Square has far left the 2nd place and become the first fault. My fans and Moses have finally reached a reconciliation, and are no longer tearing up hot searches at every turn. Countless couples threw olive branches to us, hoping that Moses and I would be on their shows, even at the expense of sky-high salaries. Fans also strongly called on us couples to come out of business as soon as possible. And don't talk about love secretly. But, not long after, Moses posted my pregnancy test form on Weibo, showing off that he was a father. On this day, just like the day of the official announcement, we received the blessings of the whole network. That day, Moses woke up drunk. The brilliant golden sunlight fell on his eyebrows, and the man curled his lips slightly. Baby, the situation has fermented like this. Why don't you? Shall we make it public? I nodded. Okay. On Weibo, Moses posted a marriage certificate and wore 10 fingers with us interlocking rings. Moses, reasonable, legitimate. And you? I responded. Nelly, Jongyu, loyalty. Finally, the end.